Have you been training for months and your muscles still won't grow? It's not your genetics. It's not your workout. It's what you're eating every single day. And it's killing your progress. The worst part? You think you're eating healthy. But if you keep trusting these clean foods, you'll stay stuck. You're about to discover what no one told you about the food that's destroying your gains. Clean. Carbs that sabotage your progress. Do you know one of the most common mistakes I see in people trying to build muscle? They train like animals, eat clean like they were told, and grow nothing. Oatmeal for breakfast, brown rice for lunch, rye bread as a snack. Sounds healthy, right? The problem is this: you're trying to build muscle with food that barely keeps you alive. These so-called smart carbs are slow, packed with fiber, and extremely low in calories compared to what you actually need to grow. And more importantly, they don't create the insulin spike your body needs after training to trigger an anabolic response, unless you eat massive portions, which almost no one does. Think about it. Your body finishes a brutal workout, depleted, ready to absorb nutrients like a sponge, and you give it dry brown rice with chicken breast. Do you really think that's going to build muscle? No. The only thing it builds is frustration. That's exactly what happens to the 99% who still believe that eating healthy is the same as eating for muscle growth. And here's the most messed up part. These foods aren't bad. They're not poison. The problem is context. If you're chasing size, if you want real changes in the mirror, you need foods that tell your body, we're growing now. But if you eat like you're on a permanent cutting diet, your body adapts and stalls. This is the first silent sabotage in your diet. You're choosing what's correct, not what your body actually needs. Eating clean isn't enough. You need to eat strategically. Processed fitness foods. Another silent trap destroying your progress. Supermarket fitness products. Protein bars. Zero-fat yogurts. Light whole grain cereals. Ultra-processed protein powders. Nice packaging. Healthy claims. Magic numbers on the label. Sound familiar? That's where most people fall without realizing it. These products make you feel like you're making good choices. But in reality, they're empty solutions. Yes, they contain protein, but they're also loaded with preservatives, artificial sweeteners, synthetic textures, and extremely poor nutrient bioavailability. In simple terms, your body barely recognizes them as real food. It digests them poorly, absorbs little, and worst of all, they give you the illusion that you're doing things right. They sell you the idea that you can build muscle with highly marketed, low-impact processed foods. But do you really think a strong, muscular body is built on chocolate-flavored protein bars and maltitol? No. It's built with real food. Food with substance, with micronutrients, with weight, with volume, not pocket snacks. The biggest issue is that these foods become your excuse not to cook, not to structure real meals. They make you think a light yogurt means progress, when in reality, you're standing still, or even moving backward without noticing. So next time you're at the store and see a bar screaming high protein in big letters, ask yourself this: am I feeding my muscles? Or am I feeding my need to feel healthy without actually progressing? Because if you want real results, you need real food. And real food doesn't come in shiny wrappers. This is one of the most invisible and most common mistakes: filling your stomach with liquids that don't feed you. Green smoothies, liters of detox tea, lemon water, miracle infusions. All of it sounds healthy, but during a muscle-building phase, it can be pure sabotage. Why? Because even if they seem harmless or even beneficial, these liquids don't give your body what it actually needs: calories, macronutrients, energy. Yes, they hydrate you, but they also kill your appetite. And if you're not hungry, you eat less. And if you eat less, you don't grow. That's simple. Think about it. You drink half a liter of lemon water first thing in the morning, then green tea mid-morning, then a celery and spinach smoothie with barely 100 calories. By the time it's time to eat, you're not really hungry. Result? Smaller portions, lower intake, less energy to recover and build muscle. And all of it happens without you even noticing. The most dangerous part? You feel healthy because you're drinking natural, detox, functional stuff. But the truth is, you're fooling your body, filling it with volume, not substance. It's like pouring water into an empty gas tank and expecting the engine to start. This doesn't mean you shouldn't hydrate. Quite the opposite. But if you're trying to build muscle and your diet is based on unstructured low-calorie liquids, You're shooting your results with every sip. Hydration matters, but nutrition matters more. If you don't give your body the raw materials to grow, it won't build anything, no matter how clean you train or how many green smoothies you drink. The trap of clean. Protein with no fat and no context. Here's another silent but deadly mistake. Thinking that eating only lean protein means you're doing things right. Egg whites, boiled chicken breast with no salt, tuna in water, white fish with no oil, everything steamed. No fat, no flavor, nothing. Sounds disciplined, sounds fit. But in reality, you're starving your muscles of what they need to grow. Do you know what happens when you eat protein alone, without fat, without carbs, without the right hormonal context? Your body goes into survival mode. Protein by itself is not enough. It doesn't create a strong anabolic environment. It doesn't produce lasting satiety. It doesn't raise testosterone. It doesn't stimulate insulin effectively. It's like trying to build a house with bricks, but no cement, no water, and no workers. And the worst part? People do this with pride. They post their plate on Instagram, 6 egg whites, spinach, grilled chicken. Then they wonder why they're still skinny, or why their energy is trash. The problem is they treat protein like the main character, when it's actually just part of the team. You need healthy fats, efficient carbs, real caloric volume. On top of that, these ultra-clean meals leave you hungry 30 minutes later. And then what happens? Anxiety, binges. Or you simply never reach the calories needed for a surplus. Result? No growth, more frustration, and the illusion that you're doing everything right. Muscle is not built on dry chicken breast alone. It's built with structure, with smart macro combinations, with flavor, with nutritional density. Eating clean isn't enough. Eating strategically is what separates stagnation from real progress. We've already exposed the mistakes. Now it's time to build. Because this isn't just about avoiding what doesn't work, it's about eating like someone who wants real results. And for that, you need a complete mindset shift. Stop eating like you're on a diet. Start eating like you're building a new body. You want muscle? Then give your body foods that weigh, that nourish, that activate your hormones, and that keep you in a sustained calorie surplus. Which foods? Start here. White rice post-workout, not brown. Whole eggs, not just egg whites. Fatty meat, not only lean cuts. Bananas, whole milk, oats with peanut butter, extra virgin olive oil, sourdough bread, nuts. Real food, dense food, food packed with usable energy. And most importantly, solid structure at key moments. Breakfast cannot be just coffee and toast. It has to be a real meal. And your post-workout meal can't be a light protein shake with water. You need a nutrient bomb that tells your body, it's time to build. Protein plus carbs plus healthy fats. That's how results are made. You don't need to eat like a bodybuilder all day long, but you do need to think like one at strategic moments. Look at your plate and ask yourself, does this build, or does it just make me feel mentally healthy? Because in the end, you don't grow by how clean you eat. You grow by how intelligently you structure your meals to support muscle growth. It's time to stop being afraid of real food. It's time to eat to grow. The silent sabotage of calorie inconsistency. This mistake isn't about what you eat. It's about how you eat across the week. And it's one of the most dangerous ones because no one sees it coming. I'm talking about daily calorie inconsistency. The classic pattern, perfect Monday to Friday, and then the weekend goes to hell. Or worse, you eat half as much without even realizing it. During the week, you weigh your food, plan your meals, train hard. Then Saturday comes. You skip meals, you eat out without tracking, or you just eat less because you're not that hungry. And you justify it with lines like, I already trained all week. I deserve it today. The weekend doesn't count. Sound familiar? Because this back and forth is exactly what's killing your progress. Your body doesn't build muscle on alternating days. It builds when it receives a clear, consistent signal. Energy plus recovery plus time. If that signal gets interrupted every 2 or 3 days, nothing happens. It's like trying to build a building and stopping construction every weekend. You never finish anything. The most deceptive part? Mentally, you feel like you're doing great because Monday to Friday, you're disciplined. But if your weekly calorie average doesn't put you in a surplus, it doesn't matter how perfect Tuesday or Thursday were. The body responds to consistency, not intention. That's why instead of chasing perfect days, you need a sustainable structure. Eating like a beast for 3 days and like a bird for 2 keeps you stuck in an endless cycle of almost progress. And almost never builds muscle. The irrational fear of fat A and how it's holding you back. One of the most common and most dangerous mistakes is this: believing that to get lean or look muscular, you have to remove fat from your diet. Suddenly, anything with oil, egg yolks, avocado, nuts, or fatty meat becomes the enemy. You do it with the best intentions, but without realizing it, you're shutting down your hormonal engine. Because without fat, you literally don't produce testosterone. You don't support growth hormones. You don't have sustained energy. And worst of all, you feel slow, flat, low hunger, low libido, weak, lifeless. All because you still believe fat makes you fat, and that protein alone will save you. But reality says otherwise. When you eliminate fat from your diet, you remove one of the most critical pillars of an anabolic environment. Healthy fats are what allow your body to function, your workouts to perform, your mind to stay sharp, and your recovery to be solid. Without them, there is no progress, no matter how much protein you eat, no matter how many reps you grind through. And no, I'm not talking about stuffing your face with junk food. I'm talking about strategic, high-quality fats. Whole eggs, avocado, olive oil, real butter, nuts, fatty cuts of meat. Foods that don't just add clean calories, but activate the hormones required to build real muscle. The problem isn't fat. The problem is fear. Because while you're avoiding it, others are using it to their advantage, and they're growing stronger, faster, and with far less frustration. So stop treating fat like the enemy. The real enemy is a diet that doesn't let you progress. You've trained. You've eaten clean. You've done everything you were told you should do. And still, you don't see the change. Do you know why? Because what's supposed to be correct often isn't what actually works. The difference between stagnation and progress isn't training harder. It's feeding your body like a builder, not like a survivor. And that stings. Because it means unlearning what you thought you knew. If you made it this far, you probably already felt it. You knew something wasn't working. You just didn't know what. Today, I showed you part of the answer. But this is only one piece of the puzzle. Because there's another mistake, deeper, more invisible, that sabotages your progress even when you eat right and train better. And that one, we're revealing it in the next video.